Hello dear students. So in last video lecture we studied nucleophilic addition reaction on carbonyl compounds. Okay, nucleophilic addition reaction on carbonyl compounds, that means aldehyde and ketone. So in the last part we have learned about the addition of ammonia and its derivative on carbonyl compound. In today's class we will continue with chemical properties of aldehyde and ketone, okay, and we will see reduction. Okay, reduction in aldehyde and ketone. So in unit 11, class 12, unit 11, we have seen that when we oxidize alcohol, when we oxidize primary alcohol, it gives us aldehyde, and when we oxidize secondary alcohol, it gives us ketone. Okay, and you must know that the fact that oxidation and reduction are just reverse processes. That means, suppose if you oxidize A and if it gives B, then if you reduce B, it will give A. Okay, if oxidation of A gives B, then reduction of B will give A. Okay, that means if oxidation of alcohol gives you aldehyde, then the reduction of aldehyde will give you alcohol. Okay, so if we reduce it, we get this. Okay, and what we can use as reducing agent, we can do it catalytic reduction. We can even use sodium borohydride, lithium aluminum hydride. You can use any of this reagent, okay, to carry out this reduction. Okay, so see, if we use one aldehyde and suppose we use NaBH4, then we get one degree alcohol. Since 1 degree alcohol produces aldehyde on oxidation, so reduction of aldehyde will produce 1 degree alcohol. Okay, now suppose if we have, instead of aldehyde, suppose we take ketone, suppose it's R dash, we take a reducing agent, what we will get? We will get a 2 degree alcohol. So you can change the alkyl groups according to your choice. You can take methyl, ethyl, alkyl, any alkyl group, isopropyl, butyl, pentyl, anything you wish. Okay, understand, it's an easy reaction. The reduction is not that difficult. Now we will also see some reduction. Okay, so what we have seen that we reduced aldehyde to alcohols, but in class 11 there was a reaction where where we have seen that you can oxidize hydrocarbons to aldehyde or ketone. Okay, you can oxidize hydrocarbon to aldehyde and ketone. So definitely the reverse process will definitely produce a hydrocarbon. So there are particular method by which we can prepare hydrocarbons, or we can reduce aldehyde or ketone to hydrocarbon. Okay, so we will see two reactions. One is called Clemenson's reduction Clemenson's reduction. Okay, Clemenson's reduction. It's a named reaction, Clemenson's reduction. And in Clemenson's reduction, what we do, we take zinc mercury amalgam in presence of HCl, okay, and it is converted to the C double bond O is converted to CH2, okay. Zinc mercury amalgam, this is amalgam, okay. So we take zinc mercury amalgam in presence of HCl, and this C double bond O is converted to CH2. Okay, let us see an example. Suppose I have CH3 H O, and suppose I have zinc mercury amalgam and I have HCl, then what will happen? I'll get CH3 CH2 H, this is nothing but CH3 CH3, okay. This is the same CH3 CH3, that means ethane, we will get ethane, okay. So this is Clemenson's reduction, named reaction. Keep in mind, named reactions, I have already told you that named reactions are important. Now there is one more reaction which is called Wolff-Kishner reaction. You know, it's another way to produce hydrocarbons from aldehyde and ketone. In Clemenson's reduction, we used zinc mercury amalgam, but in this reaction we will use hydrazine, okay. We have used this in the last reaction. I have told you NH2. So I have told you that H2 and O will combine and leave, you know, it's just the nucleophilic addition that we did, ammonia derivatives, okay. It's the same reaction, ammonia derivatives. And in the next step, KOH ethylene glycol, potassium hydroxide in presence of ethylene glycol, and you have to heat the complete reaction. That means KOH ethylene glycol and heat, and what we will get? We will get the same product, CH2, okay. We will get the same product, CH2, and nitrogen will be liberated, okay. So this is, you know, and some of you may see something like this in NCERT textbook. So just don't bother. This minus H2O means this H2 and O will combine, so it will, you know, get dehydrated. You know, it will lose one water molecule. That's why the minus H2O is given there. It's nothing to worry about it. Now, we have seen reduction of aldehyde and ketone. Now we will see oxidation. We can also oxidize aldehydes and ketones. Actually aldehyde gets oxidized, ketones will behave differently. If you oxidize this, it will be converted to COOH group, okay, COOH group. So this is the basic, conversion. The alkyl part remains the same, it does not change, okay, does not change. But suppose if we have ketone, then how ketone will behave? Actually aldehyde, oxidizing aldehyde is very easy. Just instead of CHO, you just put COOH, that's it, okay, no difficulty, it's easy. But oxidizing ketone is a bit tricky. Suppose we have R, CH2 and RS, okay. and suppose we are oxidizing it. Suppose you want to oxidize. Okay, now see, we will get a number of products. We will get a number of products here. Okay, so let's see what are the products that we will get. So first do one thing, I'll tell you how to determine. Take this and make acid with this, then take this, make acid. Okay, so 2, you did 2. Okay, 2 बन गया, अभी और बनना है, और कौन कौन सा बनेगा मैं बताता हूं. ठीक है, तो ये R और R डैश का काम हो गया. अब क्या करना है, ये एक ले लो, और इसके साथ COOH लगा दो, ये एक एसिड बनेगा. अब ये एक ले लो, बस दैट्स डन. एनसीईआरटी में जो है C1C3 बॉन्ड ब्रेकिंग, C2C4 बॉन्ड ब्रेकिंग इस तरीके से करवाया गया है, बट मुझे लगता है कि वो थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स है. आई फाइंड दिस वे इजी. मेक एन एसिड विथ R, make acid with R dash, make acid with RCH2, make acid with R dash CH2. That's it. That is leaving this CO, whatever is left, just go for a permutation combination with all the leftover carbon and form the corresponding acids. Okay, that will be the product in case of ketone. Okay, okay. Even this is a bit tricky, but not that difficult. It's not difficult. Now we will see some particular oxidations, like we have seen a particular reduction which is which we named as Clemenson's reduction, then Wolff-Kishner reduction. Now we will see some oxidation also. First we will see it's double L or single L Tollens reagent. Tollens test. So what is Tollens test? Okay, so actually Tollens test is it is used to determine the presence of CHO group. That is, it is used to determine whether a given molecule is aldehyde or not. Okay. Now, what is Tollens test? To perform Tollens test, we need Tollens reagent. Tollens reagent. Tollens reagent is ammonical silver nitrate solution. Ammonical silver nitrate solution, or you can say silver nitrate is dissolved in ammonium hydroxide. Okay, so when we will take RCHO, the main thing is this silver, this complex is when we mix ammonium nitrate, silver nitrate and ammonium hydroxide, then we get this complex. Okay, bi-amino silver ion that we get, and this 3OH negative is from ammonium hydroxide, because we have this combination. This combination is our Tollens reagent. So what we will get? We will get RCOO negative 2 silver, water and ammonia. Water and ammonia. I guess 2 water molecules. Yeah, 2 water molecules. So balancing this equation is not that important. As I told you, this is organic reaction. So don't bother about balancing this equation first. If you can balance it, then it's okay. Now understanding this equation, how this reaction works actually, it's a very beautiful experiment actually. Okay, it's very beautiful. What we do in this reaction, okay, we prepare this solution in a test tube. In a test tube, what we do, we mix silver nitrate, ammonium hydroxide. We will keep it. Now now suppose in another test tube, we have the sample. We have the sample that we have to test. Okay, we have to test this, whether this liquid is aldehyde or not. So what we will do, we will just transfer that solution into this, and after that what we do, this we take a water bath. This is Bunsen flame. Okay, this is Bunsen flame. Okay, this is flame. So we take a water bath. Water bath is like a bowl which is filled with water, and we heat the water. We don't directly, we don't heat the test tube directly on the flame, because it will boil. Okay, it will boil and spill out. So what we do, instead of boiling, we just keep this test tube dipped in this water bath like this. Okay, the test tube will be kept like that. Okay, and it will be heated. If the solution present here is aldehyde, suppose, then what we will see that, you just see in this equation here we have 2 silver, 2 Ag. What this 2 Ag tells us, this is metallic silver, that is pure silver. Okay, so what will happen, the silver will start to deposit on the walls of the test tube, okay, and after some time, what we will see that the wall of the test tube, will become silver, glazy like silver. It will, it will feel like that you have a mirror. Okay, it will form a mirror of the silver. So sometime this test is also called silver mirror test. It is also called silver mirror test. Okay, because it forms a mirror of the silver. On the wall, silver gets deposited and it looks like a mirror. So the deposit of the metallic silver creates this mirror. So that's why this test is also called silver mirror test or Tollens test. Okay, Tollens reagent. Okay, so I hope you got this. It's very interesting. Okay, so when we will start, right now we don't have any physical classes due to pandemic situation. As soon as we resume our class, you'll have your lab classes. Okay, the chemistry lab will start. Okay, so I will try to show you this particular reaction someday in laboratory. Okay, just remind me, just keep this reaction in mind, the Tollens reagent, Tollens test or silver mirror test, and you can just remind me any day after the physical classes resumes, and in lab just tell me that, sir, we want to see that silver mirror test, and I will show you. This is very beautiful test. Okay, you will see for yourself how beautiful a silver mirror is created around the walls of the test tube. Now the next test that we will see is called Fehling test. This test is also this test is also to determine whether organic molecule or organic sample contains aldehyde group or not. Now to perform this Fehling test, we need Fehling's reagent, Okay, Fehling reagent. And Fehling's reagent is actually combination of two things. One is called Fehling A, and this is aqueous solution of copper sulfate, and another is called Fehling B, and it's ammonical solution, I guess, will be alkaline. Alkaline solution of sodium, potassium tartarate. Okay, alkaline solution of sodium potassium tartarate is, this is also called Rochelle salt. Rochelle salt. Rochelle, no S. Okay, Rochelle salt. Rochelle salt. Okay, sodium potassium tartarate. So alkaline solution of Rochelle salt or sodium potassium tartarate. So we mix these two solutions, Fehling A and Fehling B. Okay, we will mix this and we will get our Fehling reagent or final Fehling solution. And after that we will perform the test. Okay, how we will perform the test? Let's see. So we have a aldehyde. Okay, and then we have two copper ions from the copper sulfate, and we have hydroxide ions from the Rochelle salt alkaline solution, and it will give us negative cupric oxide and water. Okay, so this is the, this is our end result, and this thing is red brown precipitate. That means we will get a red brown precipitate of cupric oxide. Cupric oxide, we will get red brown precipitate of cupric oxide. And see why we get Fehling test and tolerance test positive for aldehyde, because it is easier to oxidize aldehyde. It's difficult to oxidize ketone. We have seen that ketones, when we oxidized ketone, it gives us a number of mixture of acids, because it's difficult to oxidize it, and it's very easy to oxidize aldehyde. And Tollens reagent and Fehling's reagent, these are not very strong oxidizing, they're mild oxidizing agent. Okay, so that's why they can oxidize aldehyde and not ketone. Okay, so this is our Fehling's test. Then we have one more test. Okay, one more test. It's also oxidizing in nature, and this is called iodoform test. Iodoform test. Sometimes it's referred to as haloform reaction. Okay, yeah, it's better to read it as haloform. Haloform, because if we do this as halogen, we can write for iodine also. Okay, haloform test for methyl ketones. This is for methyl ketone. Particularly it will give us test for methyl ketone. I will tell you what is methyl ketone. Basically this is actually methyl ketone, CH3. Okay, so it will give you test if this particular group is present in a molecule, then it will give a positive response. Okay, and how we will perform this? So if you take this, so this contains this methyl ketone, and I will treat it with sodium hypohalite. This is called sodium hypohalite. If it would have been NaX, then it would have called, we would have called it sodium halide, sodium chloride, sodium bromide. But since it is OX, we call it sodium hypohalite. Okay, hypohalite. So what it gives us, it will oxidize the first part to this and it will give this CHX3. X can be chlorine, bromine and iodine. Okay, X can be chlorine, bromine and iodine. Okay, so this is our reaction. Okay, that means this part will form a haloform and this part will be oxidized to, you know, sodium salt. So suppose we have a product something like this. Suppose so it has a methyl ketone group. We take sodium hypoiodite. So what will happen? This part will simply go as this and we will get CHI3, iodoform. Okay, very simple, not that difficult. Now since you can test this group, we have understood that we can test the presence of this group in a molecule. We can also test presence of this group. This group can also be tested. That means this alcohol, these type of alcohols can also be tested using this iodoform or haloform reaction. Because see, we know that if we oxidize this alcohol, a double bond will appear here. That means it will ultimately be converted to methyl ketone. Okay, and we know that we are just using the oxidation reaction only. So since it's an oxidation reaction, so what it did, it oxidized this and formed haloform. So in this type of alcohol, what will it happen? In first step, the alcohol will be oxidized to this methyl ketone and then this methyl ketone will give you the haloform test. Okay, so ultimately if this type of alcoholic group is present, it will also give you positive haloform test. Okay, so you can test methyl ketone group as well as this type of alcohol. Okay, so we have also concluded our, oxidation part. Okay, so we have concluded our reduction part. Okay, the reduction reaction, that is related to aldehyde and ketone as well as all the oxidation reactions. That means all the tests and other oxidation reaction. So again I will suggest you to go through these reactions carefully and try few example problems and in-text problems from NCERT book. Okay, at the end of this chapter we will definitely discuss few exercise questions and question from previous exam, previous exam questions. We will definitely discuss those questions, but before I prepare those lectures, I would suggest you to go through them by yourself, and if you have any queries, doubts, again you can ask at any point of time. Okay, in the next video lecture we will discuss two important reaction related to aldehyde and ketone. Okay, and then we will discuss our final part of this unit 12, and that is carboxylic acids. Okay, so I'll conclude this video lecture to this part. Okay, and in the next video lecture we will see aldol condensation and Cannizzaro reaction, and after that we will discuss carboxylic acids. Okay, thank you.